Chapter 1 Idle Tycoon System. Noah Carter didn't mean to break reality. It just sort of happened. On a random, ordinary, dull day, the broke software developer had spent 3 years trying to create an algorithm. If this algorithm worked, his tiny startup might finally attract serious investors. More importantly, he could pay off his mountain of medical debt from his father's hospitalization. "Come on, you stubborn piece of garbage," Noah muttered, his fingers flying across the keyboard as he debugged his algorithm's latest version. The table he was coding on was by no means tidy, let alone professional. It was filled with energy cans and piles of ramen cups. Outside, rain lashed against the windows of his cluttered apartment/office, the kind of place real estate agents optimistically called cozy when they meant barely larger than a storage unit. Lightning cracked uncomfortably close, making his old power strip flicker ominously. No, no, no! He lunged for the backup switch, but it was too late. The lights blinked out. For one heart-stopping moment, darkness took over. Then his monitors flickered back on, displaying not his code but a single blue message. System anomaly detected. Noah squinted at the screen. What kind of virus is this? He reached for his keyboard, but his fingers froze as new text appeared. Analysis complete. Compatibility 98.7%. A strange pressure built inside Noah's head, like someone was gently inflating a balloon behind his eyes. It wasn't painful, just weird. "Great," he mumbled. "I'm having hallucinations from energy drinks and sleep deprivation. I should head to sleep." System integration complete. Idle Tycoon System v1.00 activated. Ha! A translucent blue interface materialized in front of him, hovering like a hologram from every sci-fi movie he'd ever loved. Idle Tycoon System. Host: Noah Carter. Age 28. Shops: none. Daily revenue $0. Current assets: $1,300.56. Shop points: 0. Attributes: Strength 4, Vitality 3, Intelligence 6, Agility 3. Skills: Programming Level 2, Finance Level 1, Surviving on Ramen Level 3. Noah snorted at the last skill. At least my hallucination has a sense of humor. He cautiously poked the floating display. His finger passed through it like mist, sending ripples across the interface. Is this actually real? Host has accidentally created quantum entanglement between his algorithm and the universe's fabric. Congratulations on your accidental breakthrough. You have unlocked this mighty system. Aha! Noah leaned back in his chair, which protested against his weight with a creak. So I broke physics with buggy code and an electrical surge? Sounds real. The host's mental faculties are functioning normally. This is real. Would you like to see your commercial opportunities? Noah raised an eyebrow. Commercial opportunities? The Idle Tycoon System allows hosts to establish businesses across the universe, generating passive income streams that transfer to your origin reality. Like having a franchise in every world. Right? Noah rubbed his temples. So I'm not just hallucinating. I'm hallucinating an interdimensional get-rich-quick scheme. But despite his disbelief, his curiosity was winning. If this was a mental breakdown, at least it was an entertaining one. Why not? Show me the shop, he said, spinning once in his chair. Shop type selection in progress. Analyzing host skills. The screen in front of him began to shimmer and ripple. Reality folded inward, creating what looked like a doorway. Through this impossible doorway, Noah could make out what appeared to be a small shop. Wait! This is actually real. He rubbed his eyes a few times. Still, it did not disappear but remained in front of him. After pinching himself and experimenting a few times, he finally realized that it was real. Chapter 2. Magical bread? For the next few hours, Noah kept asking the system several questions. He tried everything he could to make sure that he wasn't insane, including a test he found in an online video. Damn it, this world is boring anyways. He smiled as he stepped through the portal into a new world and a new life. The transition was instant. One moment, Noah was standing in his bedroom, the next, he was somewhere else entirely. What the? His first impression was how small the place was, barely larger than his apartment's room. The shop consisted of 4 stone walls, a wooden counter, and several empty wooden shelves. The only light came from old-fashioned oil lamps hanging from hooks on the ceiling. And there, on the single shelf that wasn't completely empty, sat 2 perfect loaves of bread. Noah approached it. The bread looked like something from an artisanal bakery ad. It had a golden brown crust, perfectly shaped, with a dusting of flour on top. It broke all benchmarks for what looked like a delicious loaf of bread. The smell was intoxicating, rich and somehow filling. Shop established. Congratulations on your first product. Please proceed with the initial transaction to activate idle income stream. Right? Noah muttered, looking around the empty shop. And who exactly am I supposed to sell to in this magical medieval place? Before the system could respond, the door to the shop swung open with a creak that could wake the dead. Noah spun around, nearly knocking over a rickety stool. A woman stood in the doorway, silhouetted against the golden sunlight filtering through the streets outside. And what a woman she was! She stepped into the light, and Noah's breath caught. Long red hair pulled back in a braid. Piercing green eyes that scanned the shop with military precision. A face that would have graced magazine covers in his world, now marked with a thin scar across one cheek that somehow only enhanced her beauty. She wore what looked like leather armor reinforced with metal plates, multiple weapon holsters. The most immediate concern, however, was the very large, very sharp sword she was pointing directly at his throat. "Don't move," she said, her voice surprisingly melodic despite the threatening tone. "Who are you and what are you doing in my guild's territory?" Noah raised his hands slowly. "Hi, I'm new here. Just opened this shop. I come in peace." She narrowed her eyes, keeping the sword in his direction. "There was no shop here yesterday. I patrolled this entire place. Would you believe? Overnight construction." Noah attempted a winning smile. She wasn't buying it. "You're either crazy, stupid, or dangerous." She took a step closer, her sword pointing in his direction. "Probably all 3. I prefer entrepreneur," Noah quipped, then immediately regretted it when the sword edged closer to his Adam's apple. "Funny guy, huh?" She glanced around the empty shop. What kind of shop has nothing to sell except 2 loaves of bread? Yes. System, is there anything good about this bread? At all. The bread increases the consumer's natural healing rate by 1/3. After hearing the system's response, Noah was ecstatic. Fun fact, this bread is not your average Joe in the oven. This magical bread, it increases your natural healing rate by 1/3. Bull. Shit. She circled around him, keeping the sword ready. "Nobody makes health potions anymore. We are lacking supply. The demons have the whole kingdom surrounded." "I have my sources," Noah said vaguely. She sniffed the air, her expression shifting between suspicion and interest. "It smells completely normal. That's what makes it good." "Don't move," she ordered, backing toward the shelf while keeping her eyes on him. With her free hand, she poked the bread. Noah saw his chance. "Want to try it? First taste is on the house." "Why should I believe you? What if this is a conspiracy to take over my guild?" she asked bluntly, though her eyes never left the loaf. Noah's mouth twitched at her imagination. This woman is very creative. I don't know what to say to that. If you don't want it, then don't buy it. But if it makes you feel better, I can have a bite." She squinted her eyes. "I'll prove it. Give me some." She picked up the loaf, examining it from all angles before breaking off a small piece and handed it to him. "Eat it." He placed the small piece of bread in his mouth and his eyes widened immediately. This is good. +1 vitality. The bread actually increased my attributes," he thought with shock as he looked at his new status. The woman's eyes raised at his reaction. Is he faking it? This is so delicious, he muttered, eyeing the bread in her hand. It was so good that he no longer wanted to sell it. So, if you don't want to buy it, you can give it to me. After seeing that he was unaffected for a few minutes, the guild leader finally decided to have some. He would have used an antidote if it had been poisoned by now. Besides, I can't sense any poison or anything of that sort, she thought. I'm buying it. How much do you want? 10 gold coins. A medieval world. They work on coins. Since she is a guild master, a few golden coins wouldn't hurt her. She stared at him blankly for a few seconds, her long eyelashes fluttering. Take your bread back, she said, placing the bread on the table and acting like she was about to leave. Eh? Noah did not expect the woman to overreact so quickly. At least bargain with me, damn it, he thought grimly, before putting a smile on his face and following her with the bread. Calm down, beautiful lady. I was just joking with you. 5 gold coins and you can have it.
No.
I'm good. She refused, still walking out of the store. As she arrived at the door, Noah was sweating buckets. Fine. 1 gold coin. I'm not going lower than that. Take it or leave it. Just know that this bread is not normal. And this is a one-time offer. I just need 1 sale. I can't become greedy yet, he thought, trying to make himself feel better after giving the woman a 90% discount. The woman stopped in her tracks, turning to face him with a small grin on her face. I just got scammed. She would have probably bought it for higher if I didn't show my desperation. Okay, I will buy it off you this time. She took out the pouch from her side and opened it. She then placed a gold coin just like they had agreed on the wooden counter. She took her first bite. A small one. The transformation was instant. Her eyes widened, then closed in what could only be described as ecstasy. A small moan escaped her lips. Oh my God, she whispered, before ripping the bread and taking larger bite. It's really warm and it's so delicious. Noah couldn't help grinning. Good, right? As she devoured another bite, something strange happened. A soft golden glow briefly pulsed beneath her skin, subtle enough that Noah almost thought he'd imagined it. The woman froze mid-chew, her free hand flying to her forearm, squeezing the muscle there with obvious surprise. Wait, you weren't lying? Of course not. The woman set the remainder of the loaf on the counter and touched her arm. I can feel it. My vitality, it's different. I feel better. A lot better. Chapter 3. First Sale. Autobaker. Noah watched her with fascination, trying to keep his expression neutral while inwardly marveling at what his bread could do. A health potion in bread form? That was definitely going to sell in this place. It's a family recipe, he improvised, leaning casually against the counter. Good for recovery and energy. Valeria nodded. I've been feeling tired and fatigued recently from all the fighting and training, but this bread made me feel better. It's really worth the 1 golden coin. It's not worth a golden coin. I told you that it was a one-time special offer. Valeria ignored him before picking up the bread once more and continued eating. Bread accelerates natural recovery by 30%. After finishing the loaf, Valeria reached for her pouch again and pulled out another gold coin, placing it firmly beside the first. Give me another one. Actually, Noah said, straightening his posture, considering the healing properties you've just discovered, I think 3 gold coins would be more appropriate. His heart hammered in his chest. Was he really haggling with a woman who had threatened him with a knife minutes ago? Valeria's eyes narrowed, but there was respect in them now. You drive a hard bargain for someone who appeared out of nowhere. But it's worth it. She placed 1 more golden coin on the counter with deliberate slowness. 2 gold coins. Take it or leave it. Noah's momentary confidence wavered. He wasn't just a shop owner. He was a foreigner in a world with different rules. System, what should I do? He thought. If I cave in now, it might make her continue this behavior. Host must balance immediate profit and long-term positioning. Reminder: you are immortal within shop boundaries. The immortality reminder gave Noah a spark of courage. He straightened his shoulders and met Valeria's gaze. You know, he said, keeping his voice casual, I'm not asking for a treasury, it's merely 3 golden coins. It's a bargain, and we both know it. He leaned forward slightly, finding courage he didn't know he had. I could sell this same loaf to anyone for way more, and just like I appeared here overnight, I could disappear just as quickly. I'm not losing anything, you are. Noah locked eyes with her, amazed at his own boldness. Now decide, do you want to pay the 3 gold coins, or? Valeria's expression remained neutral, but Noah caught the flicker of hesitation in her eyes. She hadn't expected him to retaliate with a threat of his own. Come on. I know you can't let it go, Noah thought, holding his ground. The guild captain's jaw tightened. She reached into her pouch and slammed the 3rd coin onto the counter with more force than necessary. Fine. Don't think I care whether you leave or not, she snapped. I'm merely doing this because you're new here, and we, the people of the Esta, are known to be good to our guests. Noah smiled, careful not to look too victorious. Of course. I came here because I know you are people of honor and generosity. He swept the coins into his palm. And I promise you won't regret it. Valeria narrowed her eyes. Just remember who controls this district. Baker. Special bread or not, everyone needs friends in Esta. I couldn't agree more, Noah replied smoothly. Something that might have been respect flickered across Valeria's face. Clever. I'll be back soon with others. Have more bread ready. I'll be here, Noah called after her. As the door swung shut, he collapsed against the counter, his heart pounding. He'd just faced down a medieval warrior and somehow won. The system's immortality protection was one thing, but outside these walls, he'd need Valeria's guild more than he cared to admit. Transaction complete. Ding. First sale complete. Reward? Auto Baker Level 1. Idle income. 3 gold coins. $300. Established. Noah's eyes widened in excitement. System. Does that mean that I will be getting $300 every day? No. What? Host. You will be getting paid 3 gold coins every day. However, you can set that amount to be exchanged to the equivalent price, which is $300 in the case of the bread. Oh, okay. He nodded in understanding before pressing on the reward for his first sale. Level 1 Auto Baker. Your shop produces 12 loaves of bread every day, which you can sell to earn extra income. Noah's eyes brightened. No way. This is amazing, even though it's quite slow. Actually, it makes sense. This isn't normal bread. He didn't complain too much because, first, he wasn't the one doing the baking, and second, the baker seemed upgradable. System. How do I upgrade the baker? Noah asked the empty shop. Host. The baker will upgrade to level 2 after you sell 60 loaves of bread. 0 to 60. Noah frowned. Why is it 0 when I sold 2? Host, you didn't have the baker when you sold that bread. I see. Chapter 4. First cash withdrawal, visiting sick father. Realizing that he couldn't sell any bread for the next 2 hours, Noah decided to return to the real world. System. Exchange the gold coins for money. And make sure that my daily revenue is paid in dollars, not gold coins. Yes, host. A second later, Noah's phone buzzed. He grabbed it, eyes widening at the notification. Your account ending in XX00 has been credited $300. Perfect. A smile spread across his face as he checked his updated stats. Idle Tycoon System. Host. Noah Carter. Age 28. Shops 1. Daily revenue, $300. Current assets, $1,600.56. Shop points, 20. Attributes, strength, 4. Vitality, 4. Intelligence, 6. Agility, 3. Skills, programming, level 2. Finance, level 1. Surviving on ramen, level 3. Looking around his messy apartment, Noah let out a disbelieving laugh. Energy drink cans and instant ramen cups cluttered every surface. His desk was buried under notes and empty coffee mugs. $300 every single day. That's $9,000 a month. Life is finally going to be good. He flopped back onto his unmade bed, staring at the ceiling. Just like that, his income problems were solved. No more dodging calls from debt collectors. No more choosing between rent and his dad's medical bills. I can practically live a decent life without doing anything now. I don't need to go back to that world either. But that would be stupid. His phone buzzed again. Another debt collector. Noah picked it up with confidence. Hello, Mr. Carter. This is Amanda from Capital Recovery, I know. Noah sat up, suddenly feeling bold. I'll be making a payment. A pause on the other end. That's good to hear, Mr. Carter. Will you be paying the minimum or $500? He said, relishing the shocked silence that followed. Well, that's excellent news. We'll process that payment. And next week, another $500. Noah couldn't stop grinning. Great. The reason Noah was paying a larger amount per month was because of the interest rate. He wanted to get rid of it as soon as possible. I still have one more debt collector, and they are a bigger hassle, he sighed. After ending the call, Noah sprang to his feet, suddenly energized. He began gathering empty food containers, tossing them into a trash bag. If I'm going to be a multidimensional business tycoon, I can't live in a dump. He glanced at his laptop, where Prism's code still glowed on the screen. My precious laptop and precious algorithm that I spent coding for so long. He placed both in the bag and hid them under the bed. For memories. Noah continued his cleanup. If one loaf of bread could generate $300 daily, what would happen when he unlocked more products? Or opened more shops? His phone rang again, this time it was his father. Hey, Dad. Hello, son. I was wondering if you were going to visit today. Noah smiled. Of course, Dad. I will be there in 2 hours. All right, son. I will see you then. See you, Dad. Take care of yourself. After hanging up the call, Noah's eyes darkened slightly. Although everything appeared well, it wasn't. After his mom's passing, his dad's health slowly deteriorated, until it led to his hospitalization. Thinking about his dad's health and his bread, Noah's eyes brightened immediately. System. Can I take out the bread from my shop and feed it to my dad? No, host. You don't have such privileges. Noah's shoulders slumped, hearing no, but her next sentence gave him hope. Does that mean that I can do it in the future? Of course, host. Your privileges increase when you unlock more products and more shops. So work hard for that. The more you sell, the more you upgrade your shops, and the more shops you own. Great. How can I unlock more products? Host can unlock more products by buying them from the shop upgrade slot. It's currently unavailable to the host as he has not reached the required sales threshold of 10. Once you sell 10 pieces of bread, you will be able to unlock the shop upgrade slot. Does that mean that I need to buy the products? No, host. You don't need to buy anything. It's your choice, but yes, to unlock new products, you need to buy them using money. Oh. Maybe I shouldn't have paid my debts so quickly. He scratched the back of his head. He had already spent $500 of his current old worth of $1,600, leaving him with $1,100 in his bank. Hopefully, I can have enough to buy something by the time I unlock the shop upgrade slot. After he finished cleaning, he went to take a shower and changed his clothes. He placed his old clothes in the laundry basket and took it down with him. He lived in a small apartment room, and the apartment building had paid washing machines that you could use. He placed his clothes in the washing machine and waited until it was done. Around 30 minutes later, the clothes were cleaned and dried. He took them back to his apartment room and left to meet his dad in the hospital. On the way to the hospital, he stopped by a supermarket and got his dad various fruits. He wasn't able to before because he didn't have the budget. But now that he did, he was going to spoil his dad. The hospital corridors reeked of disinfectant and false cheer. Noah hated this place. Hated the beeping machines, the squeaking shoes. But today was different. Today he walked with his head high, a bag of premium fruits swinging from his hand. "Well, look who's got a spring in his step," called Nurse Martinez from the station. "Your lottery ticket hit?" Noah grinned. "Something like that. Do you want some apples?" he said, moving the basket closer to her. "Sure. How did you know I was craving some?" She smiled as she took an apple from the basket. "Magic," he replied. She giggled and slapped his shoulder lightly. He leaned in closer, acting like he didn't want anyone to hear him. "Psst. Don't tell anyone I gave you that apple. Okay?" She nodded with a smile on her face, before whispering, "Okay. Now go before someone sees you with that fruit basket." He nodded hurriedly, as if he were really afraid. Noah had already become known in his dad's section. He knew the nurses, and they knew him. Sigh. Life really hit him hard after graduation. Although he is good-looking, charming, and funny, he is still unable to provide for a wife. Otherwise, he found his father in the usual spot, room 412, by the window. Alan Carter looked small in the hospital bed, his once powerful body slowly withered by illness. Hearing footsteps, Alan turned around. "There he is," Alan said, his voice stronger than it had been in weeks. "And he brought— Wait, are those actual fresh fruits? Who are you, and what have you done with my son?" Noah laughed, setting the fruit basket on the bedside table. "Very funny. Can't a guy bring his dad some decent food? Not when last week you couldn't afford to eat." Alan's eyes narrowed suspiciously. "Noah, you didn't do anything stupid, did you? Loan sharks? Gambling? Dad, relax. My code finally paid off. Sort of. Not exactly a lie. I've got some good income coming in now. Steady income." Alan studied his son's face. "Overnight. You always said opportunity doesn't knock. It sneaks up and jumps you when you're not looking." His father snorted. "I don't remember saying that, but that does sound like me." He reached for a strawberry, examining it like some exotic specimen. "Well, whatever it is, I hope it's legal. Totally legal. Interdimensional, but legal. Just focus on getting better, okay? The bills are handled." "Noah, I mean it, Dad. No more stress about money. Dr. Garcia says stress is making your recovery harder." Alan fell silent, eating the strawberry with slow, deliberate bites. "It's good," he finally said. "Really good." They spent the next hour talking about the hospital food, about the nurses, about anything except Noah's sudden financial turnaround. When visiting hours were ending, Noah checked his phone. "Gotta run, Dad. I'll be back tomorrow or the day after." Noah squeezed his father's shoulder. Alan nodded. "Take care, son." "Take care, Dad. Love you too." His dad smiled as he watched his son leave the room. Chapter 5: Coward. Arriving at his apartment building, Noah immediately ducked behind a car as he watched three men leaving, with their hands in their pockets. The tallest one, a bald guy with a neck tattoo Noah recognized as Rex, slammed his fist against the building's brick wall. "Waste of time. Carter's not home," Rex growled, flexing his knuckles. "Maybe he's hiding inside," suggested the shorter one with a leather jacket. "Should have kicked the door down. And have the neighbors call the cops? Use your brain, Mick." The third man, well-dressed with a trimmed beard, checked his gold watch. "We'll catch him eventually. Interest keeps ticking up either way." Mick spat on the sidewalk. "Boss ain't gonna be happy. Third time we've missed him." "Boss should have let me break his fingers last time," Rex said, cracking his knuckles. "Teach him what happens when you miss payments." "He's got till Friday," Gold Watch reminded them. "After that, we don't just collect money." Noah pressed himself against the car, heart hammering. The $500 payment he'd made earlier was civil because it was another loan shark, a legal one. Meanwhile, these ones weren't. And till Friday meant he had less than 24 hours before things got ugly. The three men piled into a black sedan parked across the street. When they were gone, he sprinted to his apartment, barely breathing until he was safely inside with the door locked and chained. "System," he gasped, leaning against the door. "I need to make money faster. A lot faster." Current daily revenue, $300. Additional revenue sources can be unlocked through shop expansions or simply selling the products. I already know that. I meant like, you know. Host, what do you want? Noah sighed. You know? Like, alone? Noah nodded his head vigorously without any shame. Yes. No. Why? Stop being lazy and go sell some bread. TSK. It was worth a try. Back in his shop, Noah paced frantically, running his hands through his hair. The clock was ticking. 24 hours, he muttered, calculating furiously. That's all I've got before those guys come back to break more than just my door. He snapped his fingers as the math clicked into place. 1 loaf every 2 hours. I already have 2 ready, which means by tomorrow. His eyes lit up. 14 loaves total. If I sell just half of them, that's $2,100. Noah slapped the counter, a wild grin spreading across his face. Add my daily $300 income, $2,400 total. Not enough to clear the whole debt, but enough to keep those goons off my back for now. 7 loaves. That's all I need to sell. He nodded firmly, as if convincing himself. 7 magical healing bread loaves, and I might just keep my kneecaps. The simplicity of the plan was almost laughable. A few hours crawled by with no sign of Valeria. Noah checked his non-existent watch for the 5th time. Where is this guild master? Did she get eaten by a dragon or something? He drummed his fingers on the counter. Host, you are allowed to go look for customers. You don't need to wait for a customer to enter. Noah's eyes darted to the door. The mysterious outside world beckoned, full of potential customers. And who knew what else? Go outside? Me? He clutched his chest dramatically. Into a world potentially filled with demons, dragons, and God knows what. That silence speaks volumes, system. Noah folded his arms. What if I step outside and a demon appears right in front of me? Who's paying for my emotional therapy then? Not you, that's for sure. The system remained silent. Ha! Speechless because I'm right. Host, I didn't respond. Not because you convinced me. I'm just stunned at your unprecedented levels of shamelessness. Excuse me? Noah placed his hands on his hips. You are meant to say, host, you are wise. Even though he complained, Noah still opened the door and peeked through. Squinting at the medieval street scene, a chicken ran by, chased by what looked like a very small goblin with a fork. Noah slowly backed away from the door. Yeah, I think I'll wait for Valeria. Customer service is about quality, not quantity. Coward. Strategic business planning. Chicken. That's poultry slander and I won't stand for it. Chapter 6. The Princess of Esta. After arguing with the system in a back and forth, Noah finally decided to peek once again. Come on, host. You are literally immortal in this world. Why are you so scared? Yeah. Immortal this, immortal that. Do you know what 300% pain tolerance means? I would rather die than feel that pain. But fine, I'll look. I'm immortal in the shop, so I can just peek while keeping 1 foot inside. Noah cracked the door open and scanned the area. Great. My magical interdimensional shop spawned in some forgotten alleyway. No wonder only a desperate guild master found me. The alley was worse than he'd imagined. Cramped, dim, with suspicious stains on the cobblestones. Definitely not prime real estate. He was about to retreat when a flash of red caught his eye. She's back. Noah's heart leapt as he swung the door wide, plastering on his best customer service smile. Welcome back to my humble STO. Valeria shoved past him with her armored shoulder. Move, bread boy. The princess is coming in. Noah nearly choked on his own tongue. Princess. Of course, welcome, your highness, he stammered, eyes widening as the second figure stepped into his shop. This princess wore a long robe, dark green and fitted to her athletic frame. A simple silver circlet rested on honey-blonde hair cut at the shoulders. Maybe 25, with almond hazel eyes that missed nothing. So this is it? She raised an eyebrow, surveying the tiny space. The miracle bread shop Valeria wouldn't shut up about? Her accent was crisp, and she was confident in her speech. Valeria coughed, making the princess smile. The princess circled Noah's pathetic shop like a hawk, fingertips trailing along the empty shelves. "And you're the baker." She stopped directly in front of Noah, close enough that he could smell something like cinnamon and leather. Her eyes narrowed. "You're not from around here." It wasn't a question. Noah's stomach dropped. He's not from Esta, Your Highness." Valeria cut in. "Foreign baker. Very mysterious." The princess didn't look away from Noah's face. "Much more foreign than that, I'd wager." A smile played at her lips. "I'm Princess Alara of the Eastern Provinces. And you're something entirely new." Noah swallowed hard. "Just a humble baker, Your Highness." Humble bakers don't appear overnight in abandoned alleyways with healing bread that glows when eaten. She tapped the counter. "How much?" 3 gold coins, Noah said automatically. Alara actually laughed. Valeria frowned. "You are not giving the princess a discount. You are more shameless than I thought," she said, crossing her arms. Alara's smile only widened. "I like him." She pulled a small coin pouch from her belt. 2 loaves. Now. Noah's heart raced as he carefully took the bread from the shelf. 2 more sales. As he worked, Alara leaned against his counter, studying him with unnerving intensity. "Strange times we live in," she mused. "Demon attacks increasing, random shops appearing from nowhere, and a baker who speaks with an accent I've never heard." She tilted her head. "Where did you say you were from again?" "I didn't," Noah replied, handing her the bread. Their fingers brushed, and a jolt like warm electricity shot up Noah's arm. Alara's eyes widened slightly. "Definitely not from this kingdom," she murmured. Noah froze. Alara smiled, dropping 6 gold coins on the counter with a musical clink. "Relax, baker. Why do you look so tense?" She tucked the bread into her leather satchel. She turned to leave, then stopped at the door. "The Magic Academy would love to have you as one of its students. Would you like to join?" Noah nearly choked. Magic Academy? Like some kind of discount Hogwarts where they'd make him wave wands and recite Latin while wearing a pointy hat? Or maybe one of those battle academies where students fought each other for rank in some Byzantine hierarchy. He'd read enough web novels to know exactly how that would go. "Let me guess, there'd be spirit beasts, and some tournament arc where I'd face the arrogant young master from a noble family," he thought sarcastically, "complete with its under a female lead who'd hate me before inevitably falling for my mysterious powers. It's okay. I'm fine here. Thank you for the offer, princess." Alara blinked twice, clearly taken aback. That was surprisingly quick. Her amber eyes glinted. "Think about it." The door closed behind her with a soft click, leaving Noah alone with his thoughts and 6 gold coins. "System, I just turned down a fantasy magic school, just to be this store's manager. Can I not get a reward?" Noah said, scooping up the coins. "No. Maybe I should have accepted her invitation." Chapter 7. Shop Upgrade Slot. Kingdom of Durenhold. The capital, Esta. The royal castle of Esta stood proud against the evening sky, its limestone walls glowing amber in the setting sun. Banners of blue and gold snapped in the wind along the battlements. Inside the great hall, candles illuminated a feast spread across polished oak. The royal family dined together, their silverware clinking. Queen Linnea watched her husband with growing concern. King Aldrich barely touched his roast pheasant, instead pushing it around his plate with uncharacteristic distraction. The deep lines around his eyes had deepened this past week. "You've hardly eaten," she said, placing her hand over his. Aldrich forced a smile. "Just thinking about matters you shouldn't bring to the dinner table," she countered gently. Prince Cassius, their eldest, set down his goblet. "Father, if there's news we should know." "It's nothing," Aldrich insisted, before raising his head from his plate. "Eat up." Alara, seated across from her father, fixed him with her amber gaze. We're family. Whatever weighs on you weighs on all of us. The king's shoulders sagged. He set his fork down with deliberate care before he sighed. The demons breached the eastern wall again last night. 43 dead. He rubbed his temples. The supply routes from have been cut off completely. Grain stores will last another month at most. Silence fell across the table. People are already going hungry in the lower city, he continued. And with the potions shortage. Queen Linnea gripped her husband's hand tighter. Actually, Alara leaned forward. I may have found something that could help, at least with the healing crisis. I'm not sure about the supply number, but something is better than nothing. The king raised an eyebrow. Oh, a new shop appeared in the city overnight, in that abandoned alleyway near the Silver Wolf Guild Hall. Appeared? Cassius frowned. Alara nodded. The guild master, Valeria, my friend, discovered it first. She purchased bread from the shop owner and experienced remarkable healing effects. Bread. The king's brow furrowed. With healing properties? It sounds impossible, I know. Alara reached into her satchel and unwrapped a small portion of the loaf. But I purchased some myself today, to try it out myself. The shopkeeper is unusual. Definitely not from Esta. Perhaps not from any kingdom I know. Aldrich stared at the ordinary-looking bread. You're claiming this enhances healing? See for yourself. She placed it before him. The king hesitated, then took a small bite. His eyes widened instantly. Oh, mighty God! He murmured, touching his shoulder where an old battle wound had troubled him for years. I can feel it working. My regeneration is already accelerating by around 30%. Alara's eyes widened. I also felt the same effect. Does that mean that the effects are not affected by the realm of strength? That's impossible. It seems like it. Her dad muttered, absent-mindedly. He took another bite. This is remarkable and unprecedented. Who is this baker? Queen Linnea asked. Alara shrugged. He won't say. He appeared as mysteriously as his shop. And his ambition? Aldrich's eyes narrowed. Unknown, Alara admitted. I invited him to attend the Magic Academy, thinking we could learn more about him and his methods. He accepted? He refused. Alara's lips quirked. Rather quickly, too. The king's eyebrows shot up. Refused? Most would fall over themselves for such an opportunity. Precisely why I found it interesting. Alara drummed her fingers on the table. He doesn't seem to be looking for power. Aldrich studied the remaining bread, deep in thought. With the demons pressing closer and our supplies dwindling, we need every advantage. He straightened, the king's authority returning to his posture. Alara, revisit his shop. Learn what you can about him and his shop. And if he proves trustworthy? She asked. A small smile crossed the king's face. Then perhaps the crown might become his most valuable customer. Achoo! Noah rubbed his nose, glancing around his near-empty bakery. Someone must be speaking ill of me behind my back, he muttered, before pulling out his status. Level 1 Auto Baker. Sell 60 loaves of bread to upgrade to Level 2. Progress, 2/60. Shop upgrade slot. Sell 10 loaves of bread. Progress, 4 out of 10. Noah leaned against the counter, satisfaction warming his chest. Not bad. I'm nearly halfway to unlocking new products. He expanded the main status window. Idle Tycoon System. Host, Noah Carter. Age 28. Shops 1. Daily revenue, $300. Current assets, $1,650.56. Shop points, 60. Attributes, strength, 4. Vitality, 4. Intelligence, 6. Agility, 3. Skills, programming, level 2. Finance, level 1. Surviving on ramen, level 3. The corner of his mouth lifted. 2 loaves for $600. Not too shabby. His fingertip traced the shop points figure. 10 points per sale adds up faster than I expected. System, he whispered, glancing toward the door to ensure no early customers would catch him talking to himself. What can I do with my shop points? The host can lock a location, upgrade the store, and unlock many more functions later on. Noah's brow furrowed. Upgrade the store? What does that do? Upgrading the store will increase its size, increase the chance of being placed in a crowded area, improve product quality, and much more. Chapter 8. New Customers. Before he knew it, a single loaf appeared instantly on one of the shelves. Noah blinked, momentarily startled. The auto baker had just finished its work. One perfect loaf, gold-encrusted, aromatic, and completely ordinary to anyone who didn't know what it could do. He approached the loaf, running a finger over its crisp exterior. The memory of his vitality boost from earlier that day lingered. That rush of energy, the sensation of his body becoming somehow more resilient, more alive. I wonder, system, would me eating the bread give me more attributes? Or is it just a one-time thing? Noah asked, eyeing the solitary loaf on his shelf like a child contemplating stealing a second cookie. The blue interface flickered into his vision. It's a one-time boost. Eating the bread will not give you a stat boost. However, it will provide the same benefit that others experience, accelerating your natural healing by 30%. Figured. I knew that was too good to be true, he muttered, rolling his eyes. Noah dragged himself back to his chair near the door, resuming his vigilant post. For the past hour, he'd kept the door ajar, scanning the street for potential customers. The empty sidewalk mocked his efforts. Not a single soul had wandered by, not even the goblin. He yawned, stretching his arms overhead until his spine popped satisfyingly. Forget it. That's enough for now. I need some sleep. I'm still a mortal after all. Noah lifted the chair, preparing to close up shop, when movement in the periphery caught his attention. Two figures had emerged from the alley across the street. One supported the other, who limped heavily, head hanging low. His heart leapt to his throat as moonlight revealed a gleam of metal armor on the injured figure. Blood stained the man's leg, leaving a dark trail behind him. Oh hell no. Noah slammed the door shut, twisting the lock with trembling fingers. Whatever attacked that night could come for me next. No way. Not happening. He pressed his back against the door. But then his gaze fell on the lonely loaf of bread and his eyes widened. The bread heals. This is an opportunity. Noah unlocked the door, pulled it open once more. Their eyes met across the quiet street. Noah's wide with nervous calculation, the injured man's glazed with pain. Hey! Noah called, pitching his voice low enough not to attract whatever had injured the man, just in case. You look like you could use some help. Come in. The lightly injured man hesitated, supporting his friend's weight with visible strain. They exchanged hushed words before slowly crossing toward the bakery, suspicion evident in their cautious approach. Your friend's hurt, Noah observed as they reached the door. I might have something that can help. Under the shop's light, Noah realized his error. The man wasn't a knight at all, just an adventurer in leather armor with metal shoulder guards. Blood soaked through a makeshift bandage on his thigh, and his face had gone pale beneath a layer of dirt and sweat. Thanks, the friend said, helping the wounded man to a chair. He was jumped by thieves near Blackwater Bridge. The wounded man, Gil, grimaced. Wasn't even worth it. Idiots got themselves injured too. Noah seized his chance. I have something that can help. He retrieved the loaf from the shelf, presenting it with all the ceremony of a sacred relic. This bread has healing properties. It can accelerate recovery by 30%. Gil's friend narrowed his eyes. Healing bread? Is this some kind of joke? No joke, Noah assured them, channeling his best salesman voice. Only 3 gold coins, and it'll have you back on your feet in no time. Gil snorted, wincing as the movement jostled his injured leg. 3 gold? For bread? Tomas, let's go. This guy's a scammer. Wait! Noah stepped forward, blocking their path to the door. The princess herself bought from me just this morning. Gil and Tomas exchanged incredulous looks. The princess, Tomas repeated flatly, came to this tiny bakery, in this back alley part of the town. Yes, she came with one of her friends, a guild master named Valeria. Gil actually laughed despite his pain. And I'm the king's personal guard. Come on, Tomas. Look, why don't you try it first? If it doesn't help, you don't pay a single coin. Don't judge a cover by its book. Host, it's don't judge a book by its cover. Same thing. As if on cue, Gil's stomach growled audibly. His eyes flicked to the bread, and Noah recognized the look. The bread did look appetizing, perfectly golden brown, with an aroma that filled the small shop. 1 gold at most, Gil muttered. And that's if it's the best damn bread I've ever eaten. Tomas sighed. Seeing that Tomas might intervene to block his sale, Noah intervened. Noah said quickly, "Just try it." Gil's expression remained suspicious, but the pain in his leg and the emptiness in his stomach made the decision for him. He extended a hand. Fine. Noah passed him the loaf, watching intently as Gil broke off a piece and popped it into his mouth. The change was immediate and impossible to miss. Gil's eyes widened, a low moan of appreciation escaping him. "Oh, great God!" he breathed, taking another larger bite. "This is—" He froze mid-sentence, attention shifting to his injured leg. The 3 men watched in stunned silence as the bloodstain on his bandage stopped spreading. Gil flexed his leg experimentally. His expression turned grim as the pain hasn't subsided. But it was still better than before. "The pain. It's fading," he whispered, looking from the bread to Noah with newfound respect. Tomas leaned forward, examining his friend's injury. "The bleeding stopped." "Told you," Noah said, fighting to keep the smugness from his voice. "It's magical bread with healing properties." Gil devoured the rest of the loaf in 4 giant bites, color returning to his cheeks with each mouthful. When he finished, he stood up, tentatively at first, then with growing confidence. "I can walk," he announced, testing his weight on the injured leg. "It still hurts, but it's like a day-old injury now, not a fresh wound." Tomas stared at Noah with undisguised awe. "How much did you say?" 3 gold coins, Noah replied smoothly. Gil reached into a hidden pocket in his boot, producing a small leather pouch. "I'm sorry. I didn't believe that your bread was good, so I thought that you deserved to be scammed for trying to scam me." The adventurer's face softened with genuine remorse as he emptied the contents onto the wooden counter. 2 gold coins clinked against the surface, surrounded by a scattering of smaller silver pieces. "This is all we have left. The thieves didn't find it." His fingers lingered over the coins. "I will come back another time to pay you the rest." Noah watched the meager pile of currency glinting under the lantern light. His gaze flicked to Gil's mending leg, then back to the man's earnest expression. "Customers for life or a quick profit? I suppose I could make an exception." He swept the money into his palm, feeling their satisfying weight. Gil's shoulders slumped with relief. "Here, you can keep the silver." Noah pushed the smaller coins back across the counter. "In regard to the gold coin, don't worry about it. But I do have a favor to ask you." Gil nodded gratefully. "Thank you. Of course, I can't say no to my benefactor." "You flatter me." Noah's smile felt surprisingly genuine. "Can you just spread word about my shop? You know any injured friends around the area? Just let them know about my shop, and I will be grateful." The adventurer's eyebrows shot up. "That's it. That's it. Of course, I will do that." Gil glanced around the bakery, his gaze lingering on the empty shelves. "But, do you have any more?" "Fresh batch tomorrow," Noah promised, mentally calculating how many hours the auto baker would need. Tomas clapped a hand on Noah's shoulder. "We'll tell everyone. The healing properties of that bread are incredibly potent, and it's much cheaper than those alchemists or healers who charge tens of gold coins." "Just doing my part," he replied with a modest shrug. The adventurers departed with enthusiastic promises to return. Noah watched through the window as they made their way down the street. Gil's limp almost imperceptible now. Noah locked the door behind them. Word-of-mouth advertising from grateful customers. The oldest marketing trick in the book. Idle tycoon system. Host: Noah Carter. Age 28. Shops 1. Daily revenue, $300. Current assets, $1,850.56. Shop points, 70. Attributes: strength, 4. Vitality, 4. Intelligence, 6. Agility, 3. Skills: programming, level 2. Finance, level 1. Surviving on ramen, level 3. Chapter 9, Blind Date. After closing his shop, Noah returned back to Earth. He had been working non-stop for the whole day. His bones ached, his eyes burned, and all he wanted was the sweet embrace of his mattress. Looking at the moon hanging in the night sky, Noah yawned before collapsing on his bed like a kid after a long day at the playground. He didn't even bother changing his clothes or brushing his teeth. The moment his head hit the pillow, he was out. The next morning arrived with the ringing of his phone rather than the morning sunshine. Hello? He muttered groggily after answering the phone, eyes still glued shut. Good morning, are you still asleep? The familiar voice pierced through his mental fog. Aunt May, his self-appointed social director and Noah's biggest cheerleader, whether he wanted one or not. No, thanks for waking me up, Auntie, he said, recognizing her voice as he hadn't even looked at the caller ID when answering. All right, you were still half asleep. Go freshen up and call me back. Her tone left no room for negotiation. Okay, talk to you soon. He hung up the phone before staying in bed for another minute, staring at the ceiling. Noah dragged himself out of bed and stumbled to the bathroom. Cold water shocked his system awake as he splashed his face. After brushing his teeth and changing into fresh clothes, he called his aunt as promised. Good morning, Auntie. Finally. I thought you'd fallen back asleep. Aunt May's voice crackled through the speaker. How are you? Your father said you visited yesterday with actual fresh fruit. Is it your startup? His aunt also knew about his startup. Noah sat on the edge of his bed. Something like that. Business is looking up. About time. Your startup was eating all your money for years, and it's finally paying its worth. I told your father. Noah is too smart to be poor forever. He smiled despite himself. Aunt May had never understood what his software company actually did, but she'd never stopped believing it would succeed eventually. How's Uncle Wei? Noah asked, changing the subject. Same as always. His back hurts, but he won't see the doctor. Men, she scoffed. He's out fishing with his friends today. And how about Lily? My daughter is thriving. Her company gave her another promotion. Speaking of thriving careers. Her tone shifted, and Noah's stomach tightened. He knew what was coming. I've been thinking about you. Here we go again. That's dangerous, he joked weakly. I'm serious, Noah. You're 30 years old. 28, he corrected. Almost 30. And when was the last time you went on a proper date? Before your father got sick, I bet. Noah sighed, running a hand through his hair. Auntie, we've talked about this. With Dad's medical bills and the business, I haven't had time. Excuses. Your father called me yesterday, you know. He's worried about you. Noah froze. Dad called you? Yes. He said you seemed different. Happier. More confident. I spoke to him about it, and he also thinks you're ready, too. Ready for what? But he already knew. To meet someone. And as fate would have it, I know the perfect girl. Yang Min's daughter. Auntie, Noah groaned. She's beautiful, smart. Just finished her master's degree in finance. She could help with your business. I don't need. Your father agrees it's time. He doesn't want you alone if. She trailed off, the unspoken fear hanging between them. If he doesn't make it. Noah's protest died in his throat. His dad had been pushing this too. The man who'd raised him alone after Mom died. Who'd sacrificed everything to send him to college. He couldn't dismiss that so easily. Noah, remember what you said last time? You promised you'd try. Had he? Noah vaguely recalled making some non-committal statement to get her off the phone during a particularly stressful day. I don't remember. You said, and I quote, "Next time you find someone, I'll give it a try." Her voice took on that triumphant tone that meant she knew she had him cornered. I wrote it down. Of course she did. Noah closed his eyes. Between medieval fantasy worlds, loan sharks, and magical bread, a blind date should be the least of his worries. And with his new income stream, he could actually afford to take someone to dinner without checking his bank balance first. Fine, he sighed. What was that? Aunt May's voice perked up instantly. I said fine. I'll go. Her delighted squeal made him hold the phone away from his ear. Wonderful. Her name is Sophia. She's a financial analyst at Meridian Partners. Smart girl, pretty too. Takes after her mother. When is this happening? Noah asked, already regretting his decision. Today. Café Loon. 2 hours from now. Today? He jumped to his feet. Auntie, I can't just. 2 hours is plenty of time to shower and find a clean shirt. I already told her about you, and she's interested. Don't mess this up, Noah. But I have. A magical bread shop to run in another world. Things to do today. More important than your future happiness? Your father's peace of mind. She played the dad card again, ruthlessly efficient. Noah checked the time. If he met Sophia at 11 o'clock, he could check the shop status every now and then from the cafe's toilet. Okay. He relented. What's the address? Aunt May rattled off details about the cafe while Noah scribbled notes. After extracting several more promises that he wouldn't bail, she finally hung up. Noah flopped back onto his bed, staring at the ceiling. System, can I ask for dating advice? Or is that outside your parameters? Host query falls outside system functionality. Idle Tycoon system specializes in business development, not relationship management. Thanks for nothing, Noah muttered. He hauled himself to his feet and headed for the shower. Between selling magical bread and evading loan sharks, how hard could a blind date be? As hot water drummed against his back, Noah tried to remember the last time he'd been on a real date. Before his dad's diagnosis, certainly. At least 2 years ago. That graphic designer who'd ghosted him after the first date. What if this Sophia wants to know about my job? He couldn't exactly tell her he ran an interdimensional bread shop. Hi, nice to meet you. I sell magical healing loaves to medieval princesses didn't seem like a winning opener. Noah stepped out of the shower and wrapped a towel around his waist. His wardrobe didn't offer many options. Mostly t-shirts with tech company logos and jeans worn thin at the knees. In the back, he found a button-down shirt that hadn't seen daylight since his last job interview. It would have to do for now. I will go buy some clothes later this week. Chapter 10. Blind Date 2. He checked the time on his phone. It was enough to check his shop first and make sure everything was in order. He stepped through. Inside the shop, for loaves were now stacked on the shelf during his absence. Perfect, Noah grinned, before checking if anyone was in the alleyway for some quick sales. After waiting for customers for around 5 minutes, during which no one was spotted, Noah decided it was time to make his way to the blind date. Back on Earth, Noah made his way to the bus stop. Although he had a decent amount of money on him now, it was still nothing compared to all the loans he had taken. One step at a time, everything will fall in place. His eyes landed on a bicycle shop near the bus stop. Looking at the timing of the bus, he had been unlucky to miss it, meaning he had to wait 13 minutes before the next one would come. I might as well rent a bicycle. It will take me to my destination faster, which means I can get back to my shop quicker without spending much money, he thought, making his way to the bicycle store. The bell jingled as Noah pushed open the glass door of Pedal Power. The smell of rubber and machine oil hit him immediately. Bicycles of every shape, size, and color crowded the small shop, hanging from ceiling racks, standing in neat rows, propped against walls. A price tag on a sleek carbon fiber road bike made him choke. $2,499? I could buy a car for that. Help you with something? A bearded man in his 40s emerged from behind a counter, wiping grease from his hands with a rag. Noah glanced at his watch. Do you rent bikes? Just need one for a couple hours. The man, Mike according to his name tag, looked Noah up and down. Sure do. What are you looking for? Mountain? Road? Hybrid? Just something to get me across town. Nothing fancy. Mike nodded toward a row of practical-looking bikes. City cruisers. $16 for 2 hours, $50 for the day. Noah blinked. That's steep for a rental. Quality costs. These aren't Walmart specials. Mike crossed his arms. But they won't break down halfway to wherever you're going either. Noah checked the time again. The date with Sophia loomed closer, and Aunt May would never let him hear the end of it if he was late. Fine. 2 hours. Mike handed him a clipboard with a form. ID and credit card for the deposit. $300 hold. Comes off when you return it. Noah filled out the paperwork while Mike adjusted a blue hybrid bike to his height. The transaction was quick, almost painless until Mike reminded him that late returns incurred hefty fees. It's 10:15 now, Mike said, handing over the lock and key. So I need to see this beauty back here by 12:15 sharp. Noah secured the helmet under his chin. Not a problem. 5 minutes later, he was pedaling through traffic, the cool breeze in his face. For the first time in years, he felt almost carefree. Arriving at the cafe, Noah parked his bicycle and secured it with Mike's rental locks. He positioned it directly in front of the cafe windows where he could keep an eye on it. Hundreds of dollars down the drain if this thing disappears. He double-checked the lock and glanced at his watch. 10:58. Just in time. At least I didn't screw that up. The cafe was filled with mid-morning energy. Espresso machines hissing, laptops clicking, weekend professionals pretending to work, whilst they just wanted to attract girls. Noah spotted her immediately. Sophia sat at a center table, straight-backed and poised, checking her phone. His aunt hadn't exaggerated. She was good-looking in a crisp white blouse and tailored blazer, her dark hair falling in a perfect curtain to her shoulders. 84 out of 100. Definitely. Noah smoothed his shirt and approached. Sophia? Hi, I'm Noah. Sorry if I kept you waiting. Her smile didn't quite reach her eyes as she looked up. No problem. But it was a problem. He could see it in the slight tightening around her mouth, the quick assessment as her gaze swept over him. He'd already lost points, and they hadn't even ordered coffee. Not a great start. Did you order, or should I order? He gestured toward the counter. I haven't ordered. Noah flagged down a barista, ordered an Americano for himself and a vanilla latte for Sophia. Awkward silence stretched between them as they waited. So, Sophia folded her hands on the table. Where did you study? State University. Computer science. Oh, her eyebrow twitched. Not one of the prestigious schools, clearly. And your GPA? 3.2. Another flicker of disappointment crossed her face. Why does this feel like a job interview? So, what do you work as? Sophia took a delicate sip of her latte when it arrived. Noah froze mid-sip. Here we go. I'm currently unemployed. I don't work at any company. Her perfectly shaped eyebrows furrowed. The temperature between them dropped 10 degrees. Are you applying for jobs? She gave the question an artificial lightness. No. I stopped applying for jobs a few years ago. But I'm... Sophia stood up, gathering her purse. The chair scraped against the floor, drawing glances from nearby tables. It was nice meeting you, Noah. But I don't think we can work. Bye. She turned and walked out, heels clicking decisively against the hardwood floor. She didn't even let me finish, or pay for her coffee. Noah sat alone, staring at the half-empty latte across from him. The barista approached, sympathy etched on his face. Rough one, man. Want the check? Yeah, thanks. Plenty of fish in the sea, the barista offered, returning with the bill. Noah forced a smile. Outside, he unlocked his bicycle, mentally calculating how much of his magical bread money he just wasted on a 7-minute date. As he straightened up, he caught Sophia watching him from the sidewalk, her expression shifting from surprise to annoyance. She'd returned, remembering she'd left without paying, only to find him with a rental bicycle. "You came on a bicycle?" Her voice carried across the street, loud enough to turn heads on the road. "God, I'm glad I left when I did. What a waste of my morning." Noah swung his leg over the seat, dignity intact despite the heat rising in his cheeks. He pedaled away, her indignant huff fading behind him. But as he cycled through traffic, Noah realized something. For the first time in years, rejection didn't sting as badly. He had a shop to run, magical bread to sell. Chapter 11. Checking out the medieval world. Noah returned the bicycle with 2 minutes to spare, collecting his deposit from Mike with a nod before heading home. The entire journey back, his mind bounced between worlds. The failed date, the medieval shop, the loan sharks. Each problem was distinct yet somehow connected through the strange turn his life had taken. His phone buzzed as he unlocked his apartment door. Aunt May, right on schedule. Of course she's calling. Probably had a celebration cake ready to order. He let it ring 3 times before answering. "Hey, Auntie." "Noah. So? How did it go?" Her voice bubbled with anticipation. "Did you like Sophia? Isn't she beautiful?" "I told you." Noah kicked off his shoes and collapsed onto his couch. "It didn't work out." A beat of silence. "What do you mean, didn't work out? What happened?" "We just didn't click." He stared at the ceiling, unwilling to admit he'd been dismissed within minutes. "But she's perfect. Good family, good education, good job." "Maybe too perfect." Noah cut her off gently. "Look, I appreciate you trying, but did you say something stupid? You always talk about your computer things too much. Girls don't care about coding, Noah." He pinched the bridge of his nose. "It wasn't like that. We just want different things." Aunt May's sigh crackled through the speaker. "You're too picky. Your father wasn't picky when he met your mother. Dad got lucky." Noah's voice softened at the mention of his mother. "No luck. Only opportunity and action." Her tone shifted to resigned disappointment. "Fine. I'll find someone else. Someone less ambitious. Less judgmental would be nice." "Don't worry about it, Auntie. I'm focusing on my new business right now anyway." She clearly didn't believe him. "Well, call your father. He was asking about the date." "I will. Love you, Auntie." After hanging up, Noah stood in the center of his apartment, suddenly restless. He glanced at his watch. Plenty of time to return to his shop, sell more bread, maybe reach that crucial 10-loaf threshold for upgrades. Noah stepped toward the portal, leaving the disappointment of his date behind. In a world of demons and magic, at least nobody cared about his GPA. Appearing in his shop, Noah saw another bread piece had arrived on the shelf. It was 5 loaves of bread now. Asterisk, that's worth $1,500. Plus, with these 5 sold, I can finally check out the store upgrade slot and buy new products to help me unlock another daily income stream. Asterisk. He thought with a smile on his face, as he sat on the chair and waited for a customer to walk in. An hour passed with Noah sitting idly, bored as even the system didn't want to talk to him. After gathering his courage and remembering the earlier embarrassment from the date, he decided to finally take matters into his own hands. "I'm curious about this world anyways. Let's see what it has in store for me," he muttered, standing up from his chair and walking towards the door. He asked the system about what if he lost his way, but the system told him that it would lead him back using a map. He sighed in relief and took a deep breath. From the way the system responded, he could tell it just wanted him to leave the shop. Stepping out of the shop, he placed one foot out before the second followed suit. He was finally outside his shop. Glancing at the alleyway more clearly and the position of his store, his mouth couldn't help but twitch at the bad marketing strategy. The door was very plain like everyone else's, but with a wooden board saying, "Idle Store." "No wonder everyone thinks I'm shady," he thought with a wry smile before he decided to leave the abandoned alleyway. Noah stood at the mouth of the alleyway, his heart hammering against his ribs. The morning sun was blazing, making the cobblestone street before him heat up his shoes. Real, actual cobblestones. Not the decorative kind in tourist districts back home, but worn, uneven stones that had seen centuries of feet. For the first time since discovering the portal, he was truly experiencing this medieval world. No shop boundaries. No safety net. System, if I die out here, I just wake up back home, right? Affirmative. With a 24-hour system lockout penalty. And the pain is multiplied by 300%. Noah winced. So basically, don't die. Correct. Taking a deep breath, Noah stepped onto the main street and immediately flattened himself against a wall as a horse-drawn cart rumbled past, inches from his toes. "Watch it, fool!" the driver shouted, not even slowing. "What's wrong with this guy?" Collecting himself, Noah began walking, trying to blend in with the flow of people. The cobblestone street widened as he moved away, into a sprawling marketplace that took his breath away. Esta was alive in ways he couldn't have imagined from his shop window. Market stalls lined both sides of the street, merchants crying their wares in musical cadences. The scents of fresh fruit, roasting meat, exotic spices, and less pleasantly, horse manure competed for dominance. People bustled everywhere. Women in long dresses carrying baskets, children darting between legs, men in leather aprons hammering metal. And mixed among them, figures that made Noah blink in disbelief. A woman in flowing purple robes walked past, a staff in her hand topped with a crystal that glowed faintly blue. She muttered to herself, and small sparks danced around her fingertips. Asterisk, an actual mage, with actual magic. Asterisk. Behind her, a man strode confidently in gleaming armor, a massive sword strapped to his back. Not cosplay armor, but genuine steel, dented from real combat. His face bore a scar that cut from forehead to jaw, and people stepped aside to let him pass. Noah gaped. It was like walking into a fantasy novel, except the smells were more pungent, the sounds louder, and the danger far more real than any book could convey. System. Am I seeing things? Or was that actual magic? Host is witnessing authentic magical phenomena. A group of children ran past, chasing what looked like a floating ball of light that giggled as it darted through the air. This is insane. Noah continued through the market, trying not to stare too obviously. He passed stalls selling everything from vegetables to potions in glass vials that glowed with unnatural colors. One merchant had an array of crystals spread on a velvet cloth, each humming a different musical note when touched. As fascinating as the magical elements were, Noah found himself equally intrigued by the mundane. The way people bargained, the currency changing hands, those familiar gold coins, along with smaller silver and copper pieces. The social hierarchies evident in clothing and demeanor. He was so absorbed in watching a blacksmith bend metal with nothing but whispered words and gestures that he nearly collided with a group of armored figures. Valeria's silver wolves, recognizable by their emblem. Noah ducked his head and slipped behind a fruit stall. The marketplace opened into a large square dominated by a stone fountain. Beyond that, the buildings grew taller, more elaborate. And rising above them all, the royal castle perched on a distant hill, its white towers catching the midday sun. Asterisk, that's where Princess Alara lives. Where she wants me to study magic. Asterisk. A commotion to his right drew Noah's attention. People were backing away from something or someone muttering and pointing. Curious, Noah edged closer. There, arguing with a stall owner, stood a figure unlike any Noah had seen before. At first glance, it appeared to be a man in a hood, but as the figure gestured angrily, Noah caught a glimpse of a furry, whiskered face. Not a man, a humanoid raccoon. The raccoon man stood upright on two legs, dressed in leather clothing with numerous pouches. His snout twitched as he argued, revealing sharp teeth. Despite his animal features, his expressions were unervingly human, currently contorted in frustration. "This is highway robbery," the raccoon snarled, his voice perfectly comprehensible despite the muzzle it came from. 10 silver for a basic whetstone? I could buy 3 in West Hollow for that price. The human merchant crossed his arms. Go to West Hollow then, beastkin. Oh wait, you can't because the roads are demon-infested. 10 silver. Noah couldn't tear his eyes away. A walking, talking raccoon person, haggling over a whetstone. System, he whispered. What am I looking at? Demi-human. Common in this world's southern regions. Like an evolved animal? Negative. Demi-humans are distinct species, not evolved animals. Many possess natural magical affinities. The tanuki's ears flattened against his head as the argument heated up. His paw-like hand moved toward one of his pouches, but he seemed to think better of it. With a final snarl, he slammed 8 silver coins onto the counter. 8. Final offer. The merchant looked ready to refuse, but his eyes darted to the growing crowd. After a tense moment, he snatched the coins and tossed over a whetstone. Don't come back, beastkin. The raccoon's nose twitched. Wouldn't dream of it, Baldy. As the demi-human turned to leave, he locked eyes with Noah, the only person who hadn't backed away from the confrontation. The tanuki's amber eyes narrowed, taking in Noah's clothes, definitely not local fashion. His clean-shaven face, when most men here had beards, and his wide-eyed fascination. Instead of moving on, the tanuki approached. Noah tensed. You new around here? The demi-human asked, voice low enough that only Noah could hear. You stick out worse than I do, and I've got a tail. Noah swallowed. That obvious, huh? Might as well have not from Esta tattooed on your forehead. The tanuki's whiskers twitched in what might have been amusement. Word of advice? Stop staring at everything like you've never seen it before. Makes you a target. Thanks, Noah managed, still processing the fact that he was receiving life advice from a raccoon person. The tanuki studied him for another long moment. Interesting, he muttered almost to himself. Before Noah could respond, a city bell began to toll. The crowd in the marketplace immediately shifted, people moving with purpose toward the edges of the square. What's happening? Noah asked. Royal procession, the tanuki replied. Princess is osing by. Perfect opportunity for pickpockets in the crowd. Which means, he grinned, showing sharp teeth. Work to do. With a mock salute, the demi-human melted into the gathering crowd. Noah found himself being pushed toward the edge of the square as people lined up along the main avenue. Guards in blue and gold livery began clearing a path, their armor gleaming in the midday sun. Make way for Her Royal Highness Princess Alara of House Durenhold, a herald called. Alara, the bread customer, the one who offered me a place at the Magic Academy. Noah craned his neck, suddenly eager to see the princess in her formal element, surrounded by the pomp of royalty rather than in his humble shop. The procession came into view. Knights on horseback, banners snapping in the breeze, mages with staffs that crackled with arcane energy. And in the center, a carriage pulled by horses so white they seemed to glow. The carriage windows were open, and there she was, Princess Alara, dressed in formal regalia that made her shop visit attire look positively casual. A tiara nestled in her blonde hair. As the carriage rolled past, her amber eyes scanned the crowd, and for the briefest moment, met Noah's. A small smile flashed across her face, followed by something like amusement. She raised one eyebrow fractionally, the ghost of a smile touching her lips. Chapter 12, Trouble. As the carriage rolled past, her amber eyes scanned the crowd, and for the briefest moment, met Noah's. A smile flashed across her face, followed by something like amusement. She raised one eyebrow fractionally, the ghost of a smile touching her lips. Then the unthinkable happened. The princess stood up, one delicate hand raising in a gesture that might as well have been a thunderclap. The carriage stopped. Guards snapped to attention like puppets yanked by invisible strings. The crowd gasped in collective shock. Noah's stomach dropped faster than a cultivator with broken meridians. This can't be good. Armored men descended upon the crowd, clearing a path with ruthless efficiency. One particularly zealous guard shoved Noah so hard he nearly toppled into a fruit stand. Move! Meanwhile, the princess descended from her carriage with the grace of a predator. Her robes barely touched the marble steps as her amber eyes remained on Noah with laser-like intensity. Yeah, I'm not gonna wait for her to come to me. I'll become a target for all the people who hate the crown. Noah pivoted, ducking between two merchants whose argument about proper fish pricing had survived even royal intervention. He slipped past a family using their collective bulk as cover. 3 more steps to freedom. 2, 1. Noah, stop! Her voice cut through the crowd noise, sounding like they were best friends. The murmuring started immediately, rippling through the gathered masses like wind through summer wheat. Noah? Who's Noah? Heads started turning in the crowds, trying to spot the mysterious person the princess was calling for. Noah's shoulders slumped in defeat, his escape plan crumbling faster than cultivation foundation built on fake spirit stones. So much for avoiding cannon fodder status. He turned, plastering what he hoped was a respectful expression onto his face rather than abject terror. The princess stood mere feet away, having somehow crossed the distance. Noah sighed, his shoulders slumping, as the princess had already spotted him. I should have known that it was an unescapable canon event. Her smile widened. I thought that was you. What brings you to the capital's busiest street on parade day? Just taking a stroll, Your Highness. Noah managed, acutely aware that 37 guards and several hundred civilians were hanging on every syllable. What a coincidence! Her eyes sparkled with mischief that spelt imminent disaster. I was just thinking of doing the same. The carriage gets so stuffy. She tilted her head. Perhaps I could join you? Like I can say no. Noah's gaze darted to the mountain-sized captain of her guard, whose hand rested not so subtly on his sword hilt. The man's eyes promised swift dismemberment should Noah's answer displease the princess. Behind him, 3 other guards appeared to be mentally measuring Noah for a coffin. His voice cracked embarrassingly. Of course, Your Highness. It would be my honor. Wonderful. She clapped her hands together, looking genuinely delighted. Captain, please inform Lord Chamberlain that I'll be delayed. I'm taking a stroll with my dear friend Noah. Dear friend? Noah squeaked, then coughed to cover it. I mean, yes, friends. That's accurate. The captain's face went through an impressive sequence of emotions. Shock, suspicion, calculation, and finally resigned suffering. Your Highness, he growled. Protocol requires at least 4 guards for any public. 1 will suffice, Captain. Her smile remained pleasant, but something in her tone made the massive man step back. After all, my dear friend Noah will protect me, won't you? All eyes turned to Noah's skinny frame and distinctly non-martial appearance. I'm going to die. I'm actually going to die. I would throw myself before any danger, he replied with perfect honesty, knowing full well his only combat skill was falling over dramatically. But I still think the gentleman is correct. The more guards, the merrier. Princess Alara's eyes narrowed fractionally. The temperature around them seemed to drop several degrees. Are you suggesting I cannot assess security needs properly? She asked, her voice honeyed poison. Noah swallowed. Hard. Not at all, Your Highness. Merely offering my humble perspective. Humble perspective? What am I even saying? The crowd had grown utterly silent. Collective breath held as they witnessed what might well become an execution. The guard captain's face remained stoic, but his eyes gleamed with something that might have been respect or pity. For guards, Alara announced suddenly, startling everyone. 2 ahead, 2 behind. At a distance of 10 paces. Her smile returned, sharp as a dagger. Better, Noah? He nodded, not trusting his voice. Splendid. She linked her arm through his, ignoring how he'd gone rigid as marble. I do appreciate a man with opinions. They're so rare at court. The captain issued rapid hand signals. The guards immediately took positions. As Alara guided Noah away from the procession route, whispers erupted behind them, spreading like wildfire. Did you see that? He contradicted the princess. And the princess listened. Must be a powerful family. Or a powerful mage, after all. The princess said that he could protect her. The princess leaned closer, her breath warm against his ear. You've made quite the impression. Half the crowd thinks you're my secret lover, and the other half believes you're a powerful mage in disguise. Noah stumbled over absolutely nothing. I'm neither. She patted his arm. That's what makes it interesting. He shot a desperate glance at the guards, finding zero sympathy in their impassive faces. The closest one actually smirked. So, Ilara continued conversationally, what do commoners typically do on their strolls? Noah's mind went blank. He'd gone from selling magical bread to arm-in-arm with royalty in less than 24 hours. His brain could not compute an appropriate response. Look at things? He offered lamely. Ilara laughed. A genuine sound of delight that made several passers-by stop and stare. Things? How fascinating. Show me these things, Noah. She steered him toward a market stall selling jewelry. The merchant, spotting the princess, nearly fainted. Your Highness, what an honor. Please, anything you desire. My friend and I are just browsing. Ilara interrupted smoothly. Isn't that right, Noah? Right? After she was done browsing, Ilar bought 2 rings. Can I have those? How much are you asking for? Nothing, Your Highness. Consider them yours. Ilara did not argue but turned towards the guard, who nodded, before taking out a large pouch of gold coins and giving them to the merchant. The merchant's eyes widened in shock before he kept thanking them, continuously. Noah, seeing this, felt somewhat envious of the man. He made at least 20 gold coins from that pouch, whilst I've been struggling to make a few in my shop. As they walked, the princess asked him a question he wasn't prepared to answer. Why did you refuse my invitation to the academy? Hoo-ha! He let out an unexpected sound before he tried searching for an answer. The truth, please. She cut him off. The weight of her gaze was almost physical. Noah felt trapped between worlds. His familiar Earth life crumbling under debt, and this magical realm where he was completely out of his depth. Because I don't belong there, he finally said. I'm not a mage. I'm just trying to make a living. Not a mage? Perhaps. But there's magic in you, Noah. Wild, untrained. But there. She touched his arm lightly. The academy isn't just for those born with power. It's for anyone with potential. Potential for what? For greatness. Her smile returned, secretive and knowing. For changing worlds. Before Noah could respond, a commotion erupted behind them. The guard dropped to one knee, relaying the information. Your Highness, attack at the eastern wall. Demons. Hundreds of them. Chapter 13. The Demons and Mages. The captain cursed under his breath. The 7th breach this month. Ilara's playful personality vanished, immediately becoming cold. Casualties? Unknown. Just got word now. The captain stepped forward, his armor clanking. Princess, we need to escort you back to the castle, where you are safe. Instead of nodding like any sensible royal would, Ilara's eyes lit up with the unmistakable gleam of someone about to make a terrible decision. She turned to Noah, grabbing his arm with strength that he couldn't struggle against. Come with me, she commanded, already dragging him in the opposite direction of safety. Noah's feet skidded on the cobblestones. Wait, what? To the eastern wall, she called to the guards, who exchanged looks of pure suffering. No, no, no. Noah tried to extract his arm from her grip. It was like trying to escape an elegant vice. Why are we going to the eastern wall? This girl is actively trying to kill me. She thinks I'm some mysterious hero who's pretending to be weak. I'm actually weak. He mentally screamed while his physical face cycled through at least 7 different expressions of panic. Don't worry, Ilara said, her smile far too confident for someone heading toward a demon invasion. I won't make you fight them. I can already tell you're not a mage. Oh, thank G. I want to show you what a mage can do. Her smirk should have come with a warning label. The captain of the guard, a man who had clearly contemplated career changes multiple times that day, sighed. He knew arguing was pointless. He signaled to the other guards, who formed a protective diamond around the princess and her unwilling companion. Your Highness, the captain tried one last time. Protocol states. Protocol also states I have authority during emergencies. Alara didn't even slow down. Huh? Noah's brain struggled to process the words. Wait, is she taking me on a field trip to see demons? People scattered as their group rushed through the streets. Noah stumbled along, wondering how his life had turned from selling bread to witnessing demonic invasion in under an hour. System, he whispered desperately, what are my chances of survival if we actually reach the eastern wall? The system ignored him, making him curse under his breath. The sounds reached them before the sights, roars unlike anything from Earth, and the distinct crackle of what could only be spells. Almost there. Alara sounded practically giddy. That's what I'm afraid of, Noah muttered. They rounded a corner, and Noah's heart attempted to escape through his throat. The eastern wall stood about 50 feet high, massive stone. Parts of it were currently on fire. Other parts appeared to be melting, and scaling the wall, pouring through a breach near the base, were things that defied description. The closest analogy Noah's terrified brain could conjure was, if spiders were the size of bears, and looked very, very angry, whilst also having a weird look to them. There were also many kinds of demons with different looks and different powers. Soldiers fought desperately at the breach point. But among the defenders stood figures in robes similar to those Noah had seen in the market. They hurled spells, actual magic that tore through the demons with varying effectiveness. There, Alara pointed, eyes gleaming. That's what you could learn at the academy. A mage near the front line raised her staff, and a wall of ice appeared, temporarily stopping the demon advance. Another conjured chains of iron that bound a creature long enough for soldiers to hack at it with enchanted weapons. This is supposed to convince me? Noah squeaked. Seeing people nearly die fighting these demons? The captain growled. Your Highness, we're too exposed here. As if to emphasize his point, one of the larger demons spotted their group. Its eyeless face seemed to focus directly on them. On Noah. Oh no. Chapter 14. 7 loaves sold. Unlocking the shop. It's looking at me, he whispered. Why is it looking at me? The creature abandoned its assault on the wall and charged directly toward them, moving with impossible speed. Retreat! The captain bellowed, shoving Noah and Alara behind him. The guards formed a wall of steel, but Noah was afraid that it wouldn't be enough. What if that thing tears through them like tissue paper? What do I do? Just accept death and the 300% pain tolerance? He looked at the princess next to him, who didn't seem bothered. This girl, it's her fault. Now I'm going to die in a medieval fantasy world because a princess wanted to give me a magical career pep talk. Damn it, I should have stayed in my shop. Then Alara stepped forward, pushing past her protesting guards. She raised one delicate hand, her expression changing from curious to deadly serious. The invisible particles around her fingers seemed to react to her touch. The princess spoke a single word in a language that Noah's ears had never heard before. Power surged around her. The charging demon hit an invisible barrier 10 feet from their position. It shrieked, a sound that made Noah's teeth vibrate. Alara made a twisting gesture with her hand. The barrier engulfed the demon and contracted, squeezing the creature until it burst. Silence fell over their little group. The princess lowered her hand, turned to Noah, and smiled sweetly. And that was just a basic containment spell. First-year material. It depends on your affinity. One of my affinities is wind, and this was a basic wind spell. Noah stared at her, then at the remains of the demon, then back at her. First year, he repeated weakly. Ma'am. She brushed an imaginary speck of dust from her royal robes. Though my execution was rather elegant, if I do say so myself. The captain looked like he might cry, laugh, or possibly just resign on the spot. Now, Alara continued brightly, as if they weren't still in mortal danger. About the academy. A second demon, larger than the first, crashed through the defensive line at the wall. Then a third, and a fourth. Your Highness, the captain said, his voice pleading. We need to leave. This time, Alara didn't argue. She allowed herself to be moved away from the battle, dragging Noah along. So, what do you think? Ready to enroll? A smirk was on her face as she expected Noah to nod his head. Noah, who was trying very hard not to throw up from pure adrenaline, managed to gasp. Do you always recruit students by nearly getting them killed? Only the special ones. She winked. I sell bread. Yes, it's magical, but it's still bread. This princess really thinks I'm a mysterious heir of some powerful entity or something. As they rushed through the streets back toward the castle, Noah found himself thinking of his quiet shop, his immortality protection within those walls, and the simple goal of selling enough bread to unlock upgrades. Life had been so much simpler 20 minutes ago. Fine, he heard himself say. I'll consider the academy. A triumphant smile emerged on Alara's face, and it was somehow more terrifying than the demons. Although he had said that, Noah still didn't see himself enrolling in the academy within the near future. The prospect of battling demonic spiders with magic wasn't exactly on his 5-year plan. I'm fine with being a shop owner for now. As they approached the plaza, Noah's money-grubbing instinct kicked in once again. A captive audience of royalty and guards? When would this opportunity come again? Before you go, Your Highness, he called, causing Alara to pause mid-stride. I actually have more bread back at my shop. Given the attack, your soldiers might need it. The princess raised an eyebrow. Are you trying to sell to me after witnessing a demon invasion? Noah straightened his shoulders. I prefer to call it providing essential services during a crisis. If they each buy one, my stock will be finished and I can earn enough to unlock my shop upgrade. New daily income stream. As you know, my bread accelerates healing by 30%. Noah pressed on. Imagine your wounded soldiers recovering in days instead of weeks. She will have to buy some now. Alara's eyes narrowed. She glanced toward the eastern wall, where smoke still rose. How many loaves do you have available? 6, Your Highness. The usual price, 3 gold coins each. A beat of silence passed. Then Alara burst out laughing. You really are interesting. She shook her head in amusement. Noah's smile didn't waver. You flatter me, Your Highness. All right, that's 21 golden coins. Correct. Noah nodded like a pecking chicken, his spine tingling with anticipation. 6 sales at once. The princess's generosity would unlock his future. It landed in his palms with a satisfying drop. Gold clinked against gold. James, ensure our baker returns safely to his shop, Alara commanded. The mountain of a man bowed. As you command, Your Highness. Alara gave Noah one final, penetrating stare. See you soon. Also, if you have something other than bread, don't hesitate to let James know. Of course, of course. He nodded. She left, heading towards the castle, leaving Noah with her intimidating guard and 21 gold coins. Chapter 15. New item for sale. The journey back to his shop passed in a blur. The shop's humble wooden sign appeared ahead, swinging in the afternoon breeze. Never had the words idle store looked so beautiful. The captain halted at the alley entrance. We've arrived. His face remained as expressive as a wall. He was the living embodiment of a stoic monk, or possibly chronic constipation. Why is he so serious? Noah wondered, wisely keeping the thought to himself. After all, getting beaten up for sassing a royal guard wouldn't unlock any system upgrades. Inside the shop, Noah arranged the bread loaves on the counter with the care of a museum curator handling ancient fossils. 6 perfect golden loaves, each worth 3 gold coins, or more accurately, his financial salvation. The captain collected them with care. Those bread loaves were worth 21 golden coins, so they must be something good. The transaction was officially complete as both received their goods. Shop upgrade slot. Sell 10 loaves of bread. Progress. October 10th. Completed. The notification flashed across Noah's vision like digital confetti. You are now able to buy a new item to sell. Noah's heart leapt. Finally, the moment he'd been grinding for, a chance to expand his small shop one product at a time. Wait, he called as the captain turned to leave. The mountain of a man paused at the door, one eyebrow climbing his forehead. Yes, I have another product to sell, Noah announced, rubbing his hands together with all the subtlety of a cartoon villain. Remember the princess's words? The guard nodded once. Where is it? His eyes scanned the empty shelves. There is nothing here. Noah raised a finger. Bear with me for 1 second. He dropped below the counter, squatting on his heels to access the shop interface out of sight. This was it, his moment of triumph. The upgrade menu materialized before him, glowing with disappointment. Instead of the vast array of magical products he'd imagined, such as potions, enchanted weapons, perhaps a nice line of self-warming socks, a single lonely item stared back at him. Everything else was locked behind bars. System, you've got to be joking, right? Why would I joke with you, host? This is the price. It's too expensive, damn it. No one is forcing you to buy it, host. It's your choice. The longer Noah stared at his current wealth and the price tag, the more his soul withered. Host, Noah Carter, age 28, shops 1. Daily revenue, $300. Current assets, $3,900.42. Shop points, 100. Attributes, strength, 4. Vitality, 4. Intelligence, 6. Agility, 3. Skills, programming, level 2. Finance, level 1. Surviving on ramen, level 3. My wealth is $3,900. After buying this tea, I'll be back to poverty. Plus, I still haven't paid off those loan sharks. The guard's voice cut through his internal crisis. Is everything all right down there? Noah had been crouched under the counter for nearly 5 minutes, apparently long enough to make even a stoic royal guard speak out. Yeah, 1 second, he called back, his voice cracking slightly. He stared at the purchase button. Logic screamed to wait, to save, to be prudent. But, no, it's fine. I might become poor again. Those loan sharks might break my legs. But I'll figure something out. After all, I could possibly double my daily income if I could sell this for 3 gold coins too. Maybe even more. He clicked the purchase button. His heart bled digital tears as $3,500 evaporated from his assets, leaving him with a disappointing $400.42 to his name. I guess I'm back to ramen dinners and avoiding debt collectors. Congratulations! Iced tea is now available for sale. Your first product batch is available in your inventory. System, why don't I have an auto iced tea maker like my auto bread maker? He asked internally, noticing the lack of production notifications. Host must sell the product first. Then he will be able to create an idle income stream. Auto iced tea will be available after the first sale. Of course, because nothing could ever be simple. Noah retrieved the iced tea from his inventory and stood up, knees popping from the extended squat. The captain was now looking at him with genuine concern, probably wondering if the princess's special friend was having some kind of episode. Found it, Noah announced with forced cheer, placing a glass bottle on the counter. The container itself was stunning. It was made of glass that reflected the light like a prism, filled with liquid that shifted between deep blue and purple, depending on the angle you were looking from. Most importantly, it was iced. The captain leaned forward, curious about the drink. What is it? Iced tea, Noah proclaimed. Increases mana reserves and regeneration by 30% for 10 minutes. Perfect for mages and knights during battle. The captain's eyes narrowed. You're a brewer as well as a baker? I'm a collector of rare recipes. Noah hedged. This would be invaluable for the royal mages fighting at the wall. Worth at least 10 gold coins. There, the opening bid. High enough to be profitable, low enough not to sound completely insane. The guard studied the bottle, then Noah, then the bottle again. His face suggested he was mentally composing his resignation letter. "All right," he said finally. "Eh?" Noah blinked. "You want 10 gold coins? Right?" The guard placed the coins on the counter with a decisive clink. "What? No haggling? No questions? He just paid full price? Damn it. I should have asked for more. I'm so stupid." Noah mentally kicked himself. With negotiation skills this bad, it was no wonder his startup had struggled. "The princess didn't set a limit on the purchases," the guard explained unprompted. Noah stared at the coins like they might transform into butterflies and flutter away. First iced tea sold. Daily idle income added. Iced tea, 10 gold coins, 1,000 US dollars. Auto iced tea maker unlocked. Produces 1 iced tea every 4 hours. $1,000? Noah nearly choked. Per day? Combined with his bread income, he'd be making $1,300 daily. It was enough to pay off his loans in less than a week. Chapter 16, Poor Businessman. The guard collected the bottle with surprising care. "I'll ensure this reaches Her Highness first. If it works as claimed, expect more orders. If it doesn't, the princess will decide the next step." He left the threat hanging, but Noah barely noticed. He was too busy calculating his new income projections. "It'll work," he assured the guard, as he momentarily stepped out of his trance. Customer satisfaction guaranteed. After the captain departed, Noah executed a victory dance that would have horrified any professional choreographer. His movements resembled a drunken flamingo having a seizure, but at least his joy was genuine. "System, I'm back in business." He pumped his fist toward the ceiling. "Well done, host." His current status was as follows. Host, Noah Carter. Age 28. Shops 1. Daily revenue, $1,300. Current assets, $1,400.42. Shop points, 110. Attributes, strength, 4, vitality, 4, intelligence, 6, agility, 3. Skills, programming, level 2. Finance, level 1. Surviving on ramen, level 3. Noah collapsed onto his stool, giddy with relief. An opportunity like that one might not come again. It's good that I took advantage of it, otherwise I would be regretful till the day I die. He sighed. He had almost gotten greedy, wanting to keep more money on his possessions. But luckily he chose to buy a new product. And soon he would have to answer Alara's request about the Magical Academy. Princess Alara would be waiting, probably ready to throw him into classes with teenagers who could already turn people into frogs or whatever. Not now. It's too early. And outside his shop's safety, demons prowled the city walls. Demons that had looked at him with particular interest. I really should have charged 15 coins for that tea. He glanced around his tiny shop. The shelves were completely empty. He had sold everything in the shop. "I'm such a good businessman." He smiled before deciding that it was time to return to the real world. He couldn't sell anything even if he wanted to. Outside the shop window, Esta's sun began to set. Back in the real world, the sun was still out. I should have counted the time difference, Noah thought, his stomach announcing its displeasure with an undignified growl. He walked to the fridge, scratching his belly under his shirt. The kitchen light flickered, reminding him that his apartment was one maintenance issue away from being condemned. "Let's see what we have here." Noah swung open the refrigerator door and confronted his life choices in food form. A single, lonely egg stared back at him, accompanied by a packet of cheddar cheese so old it might qualify for the elderly care home. He looked above his fridge, where the ramen usually sat in rows. That too was empty. "I need to buy some groceries," he muttered. "I can't keep living like a brokey for the rest of my life. I'm a businessman now." The word felt strange on his tongue. Businessman, but wasn't he? In another world, at least, He was now pulling in $1,300 daily. That was more than most corporate executives. A businessman who can't afford chicken. Noah thought sarcastically. Noah grabbed his empty wallet and keys. Glancing at his phone, he realized that he hadn't spoken to his dad today. Ring ring. His father picked up on the second ring. Noah? Everything okay? Hey Dad, just checking in. How's the hospital food tonight? A dry chuckle. Mystery meat with a side of regret. Sounds delicious, he chuckled. I'll visit tomorrow. Craving anything? Snacks? Magazines? Save your money, son. You need it more than I do. Noah stepped outside, squinting in the evening light. Actually, business is looking up. Really up. Good, good. His father's voice softened. You know, your mother would be proud. Noah swallowed past the sudden tightness in his throat. Yeah. Though she'd also say it's time you settled down. Can't marry your work, son. Dad. Just saying. Those good genes shouldn't go to waste. Noah laughed, turning the corner toward the supermarket. I had a date today, actually. Complete disaster. What happened? She walked out when she found out I was unemployed. But you just said, I'm self-employed. She didn't stick around for the distinction. His father's laugh turned into a cough, and Noah's chest tightened. Get better, Dad. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care of yourself, Noah. Love you. Love you too. Noah pocketed his phone, pushing through the automatic doors of Super Discount Mart. He grabbed a basket, headed for the ramen aisle out of pure muscle memory, then stopped short. I'm making almost $2,000 a day. I can afford some real food. Noah pivoted toward the produce section. Can I help you find something? Asked an employee who clearly hoped the answer was no. Just looking at vegetables, Noah replied, realizing how sad that sounded only after the words left his mouth. The employee blinked slowly. I see. Thanks. Noah selected items at random. Broccoli? It's healthy looking. Into the basket. Bell peppers? Pretty colorful, look tasty enough. Definitely basket-worthy. Eggplant? Way too intimidating. Maybe next time. The meat section presented new challenges. Different cuts stared back at him through plastic wrap, judging his culinary incompetence. What do I even do with ribs? He settled on chicken breasts, the culinary equivalent of a beige sweater. It was safe and impossible to mess up. But it had one problem. Bland. Way too basic. His basket now contained vegetables, meat, bread, and yes, 2 packages of ramen. Ramen is the foundation. No matter how rich I am, I can never forget my good old friend. At checkout, Noah recognized the cashier, Melissa, who'd been ringing up his eggs and ramen for the past year. Her eyebrows shot up at the sight of actual food in his basket. Whoa, did you lose a bet? She scanned the broccoli with suspicion. Thought I'd try not dying of scurvy for a change. Melissa nodded at the ramen. I see you're keeping your options open, though. Baby steps. Noah grinned. Besides, ramen and I have history. Can't just ghost a faithful companion. She laughed, bagging his groceries. Well, look at you, adulting and everything. Next, you'll tell me you're doing your laundry regularly. Let's not get crazy. Her smile lingered as she handed him his receipt. Seriously, though, good for you. Everyone deserves real food. Walking home, grocery bags swinging at his sides, Noah felt almost normal. Before a familiar, scary voice called out to him. Carter. The voice wasn't loud. In fact, it was quite calm. But it still sent shivers down Noah's spine. Shit. Chapter 17. Loan Sharks. Shit. Noah's grocery bags suddenly weighed 1,000 pounds each. He turned slowly, facing the inevitable. Rex stood beneath a flickering streetlight, one hand tucked into his leather jacket pocket. The universal sign for, I might have a weapon. A thick gold chain stood against his neck, probably purchased with someone else's money. Rex. Hey, what a coincidence. Noah's voice came out an octave higher than intended. Rex didn't smile. His face remained expressionless as he closed the distance between them. stopping close enough that Noah could smell his breath. And it stank. A nauseating cocktail of cheap cigarettes and garlic bread. Don't gag. Do not gag. Follow me. Rex turned, not bothering to check if Noah complied. Because of course Noah would comply. Both men knew the script. For minutes later, they stood in an alley between a laundromat and a cell phone repair shop. Noah's groceries had gone from fresh purchases to hostages. You're a hard man to find lately, Carter. Rex examined his fingernails. Almost like you're avoiding me. Me? Avoiding you? Noah laughed. Why would I do that? I love our chats. Quality time. Rex's eyebrow twitched. Multiple visits to your apartment. Nobody home. Your phone goes straight to voicemail. Beginning to think you'd skip town. Phone broke. Still in the repair shop. Also, work has been crazy lately. Work? Rex smirked. Thought you were unemployed. Self-employed. Noah corrected automatically. Why am I arguing semantics with a debt collector? Rex leaned against the brick wall. Must be doing well. You are buying meat. He nodded at the bags. Instead of those ramen cups we always see in your trash. They go through my garbage? Just had a lucky break. Noah muttered. Lucky break. Rex repeated the words like testing their flavor. Lucky enough to start making payments? Noah swallowed. I was gonna call you guys tomorrow, actually, because my mobile phone would be fixed by then. Sure you were. Rex's smile didn't reach his eyes. Just like you were gonna call last week. And the week before. I really was this time. Then today's your lucky day. Rex straightened up. Your grace period's over. Weekly payments start now. Worst timing ever. Noah calculated quickly. How much? He asked, already knowing it would hurt. 1,000. Cash. Now. Noah's mouth went dry. I don't have that much on me. Rex shrugged. ATM's right around the corner. I'll wait. Of course he knows where the nearest ATM is. Probably has a mental map of all withdrawal points within 3 miles of my apartment. Fine. Noah set his groceries down carefully. The ATM transaction felt like organ donation. Each button press extracted another piece of his soul. The machine spat out 10 crisp $100 bills, reducing his account to a pitiful balance. It's okay. Tomorrow I'll have it back. Noah consoled himself. Noah returned to find Rex exactly where he'd left him, scrolling through his phone with an expression of boredom. The groceries remained untouched. Here. Noah handed over the stack of bills, trying not to let his hand shake. Rex counted them, licked his thumb for the last few bills like an old-timey banker, then tucked them into his jacket. Same time next week. Another 1,000. Next week. Noah's voice cracked. That wasn't the agreement. Agreement's been updated. Boss says weekly payments until you're square. But that's smart business. Rex finished the sentence with a smile. You understand business, right, Carter? Noah thought of his bread shop, his idle income. Yeah, I understand business. Good man. Rex clapped him on the shoulder with enough force to stagger him. See you next Friday. Don't make me hunt you down, because there will be a fine for that. He walked away, disappearing around the corner like a recurring nightmare that would return right on schedule. Noah collected his groceries, hands slightly numb. It's okay. I can manage this. Pay these goons their weekly 1,000. Pay the hospital bills. Still have plenty left over. But something dark and cold had settled in his stomach, and it wasn't just Rex's garlic breath. If his system stopped working, if the portal disappeared, if the princess decided to throw him in a dungeon tomorrow, Noah trudged home, groceries no longer feeling like a victory. His tiny, crappy apartment came into view, the promise of broccoli and chicken failing to lift his spirits. Tomorrow couldn't come fast enough. He needed that daily income transfer, needed to sell more products and increase his daily revenue even further. Chapter 18. A small meal. Returning home, Noah closed the door behind him and placed the groceries on the kitchen counter. It was a small kitchen with basic necessities to live in the modern day. He placed the stocks in the fridge whilst leaving the portion he wanted to cook. Noah spread his ingredients across the counter. Chicken breasts, garlic, onions, and the noodles, his loyal companions through the darkest times. Tonight, we feast like actual humans. He propped his phone against a water glass and pulled up an online tutorial. Perfect juicy chicken breast for complete beginners. Hey guys, Chef Marcus here. The unreasonably handsome man on screen announced. Today we're making foolproof chicken that's crispy outside, juicy inside. Noah squinted at the screen. Your smile is suspicious, Marcus. He followed along, chopping garlic with the precision of someone who'd never properly held a knife before. Close enough. The chicken sizzled as it hit the pan, sending a plume of smoke toward the ceiling. That's normal, Noah assured himself, even as Chef Marcus's chicken remained suspiciously smoke-free. Smoke means flavor. His phone pinged with a notification. An email from the hospital about his father's upcoming treatments. Noah glanced at it, momentarily distracted. Just long enough for the garlic to transform from golden brown to charcoal black. No, no, no. He yanked the pan off the burner, waving away smoke. Chef Marcus continued smiling from the screen, oblivious to the disaster unfolding in Noah's kitchen. Now we'll add our perfectly caramelized garlic. Perfectly cremated is more like it, Noah muttered, scraping the blackened bits into the trash. He started caramelizing the garlic once again. This time he watched the pan like a hawk stalking prey. The chicken started to brown beautifully. Noah's face showed a small, victorious smile. Then he flipped it. The underside was black as midnight. How? He demanded of the universe. I was watching you the entire time. Chef Marcus spoke once again, from the phone screen. See how gorgeous that color is? Noah threw a dish towel at his phone, knocking it face down on the counter. Damn it, I can't cook to save my life. He took a deep breath. One last attempt. Noah lowered the heat, took out some fresh chicken, whilst giving the chicken his full attention. The noodles boiled peacefully in a separate pot, the only cooperative element in this kitchen rebellion. 10 minutes later, something miraculous happened. The chicken looked edible, golden brown, not cremated. Noah poked it suspiciously with a fork. Are you messing with me? The chicken didn't answer, which he took as a good sign. He plated his masterpiece, pan-seared chicken over noodles, with the vegetables he'd hastily steamed. The first bite nearly brought tears to his eyes. Food. Actual food. It wasn't Chef Marcus's quality. The chicken was slightly dry on the edges, and he'd definitely oversalted. But it was good. Noah ate at his small table, one eye on his phone, watching some online videos. By the time he finished eating, he felt like he had accomplished something great. I cooked an edible meal. The thought almost brought tears to his eyes. Small victories were always emotional. Noah washed his dishes, laid out clothes for tomorrow, and set his alarm. Noah woke up the next day, rolled out of bed, and shuffled to the bathroom. With his morning routine complete, he gathered his laundry and headed downstairs to the building's coin-operated machines. While the old, crappy washer churned his clothes, Noah hunched on a plastic chair, scrolling through social media. Short videos flashed by, whether it was comedy videos, cooking fails, cat videos, or people far more successful than he living their best lives. 30 minutes later, he returned to his apartment with clean clothes. Without wasting time, Noah stepped through the portal and appeared in his shop. His shelves were no longer empty. 10 loaves of bread lined one shelf, their golden crusts gleaming in the morning light. Alongside the loaves, 5 glass bottles of iced tea were also sitting there. This place looks like a real store now. Pour one, though. Noah approached the iced tea display, lifting one bottle to examine it. The glass felt cool against his palm. I can get a boost in my attributes the first time I try a new product. Let's see what this one does. He unscrewed the cap, releasing a subtle, sweet scent that made his mouth water. Noah took a cautious sip, then froze as flavor exploded across his tongue. It was a peach flavor, but not like any peach he'd ever tasted. This was peach as it existed in dreams in perfect summer ads. Sweet but not cloying, crisp yet somehow smooth, with complex notes that reminded him of honey, vanilla, and something utterly foreign, something that could only be described as the taste of magic itself. He swallowed, and a rush of coolness spread through his body, settling behind his eyes like a gentle wave. He let out a soft moan that escaped involuntarily. "You have gained +1 intelligence." Noah blinked. "Oh my God," he whispered, staring at the bottle. "Did I just get smarter from drinking tea?" System, what just happened? Host has gained +1 permanent intelligence attribute from the first consumption of a new product. So I'm smarter now? Just like that? Yes and no. Whilst the intelligence stat increases your cognitive processing capacity, problem-solving skills, memory recall, and more, it's not by a large margin, it's very minute. This is because the intelligence stat is more focused on your affinity to mana. So it mostly increased mana-related skills, but also increased my intelligence, although subtly. Right? Yes, host. That's what I just said. Okay, calm down. No need to be so sassy. I was just making sure. Noah rolled his eyes. Noah took another sip, despite knowing that he wouldn't receive another boost. This drink is simply too good. If it enters the market on Earth, it will dominate. Without the stat boosts, just the flavor. System. When can I unlock more products in the shop slot? Chapter 19, Level 2 Shop. Shop Level 2 required for additional product slots. What do I need to upgrade my store to Level 2? The host needs the following requirements. Less than 5,000 shop points. Damn, that's a long way ahead. Host. Noah Carter. Age 28. Shops 1. Daily revenue, $1,300. Current assets, $300.10. Shop points, 110. Attributes, strength, 4. Vitality, 4. Intelligence, 7. Agility, 3. Skills, programming, level 2. Finance, level 1. Surviving on ramen, level 3. His current shop points were nowhere near 5,000 shop points. Auto iced tea maker unlocked. Produces 1 iced tea every 4 hours. Max stock, 12. Progress 0/60. Level 1 auto baker. Sells 60 loaves of bread to upgrade to level 2. Max stock, 12. Progress, 10/60. His auto baker was 1/6 into the upgrade, while his auto iced tea maker hadn't even started. It's fine. I've already gotten some loyal customers. The royal family will start buying the iced tea and the bread for their mages, while some other customers will pop in every now and then. The bell above the door jingled, drawing Noah's attention. Instead of one of his regulars, a stranger entered, an older man in modest clothing, perhaps late 40s with streaks of silver in his closely cropped hair. A noticeable limp affected his walk. The man's eyes landed on the shelves, widening at the sight of golden loaves and bottles. "Hello, young man," he called. "I've come on the recommendation of Gil. He told me you sell magical bread that increases regeneration." Noah straightened behind the counter. "Yes, indeed. The golden coin was worth leaving. He got me a new customer." The older man approached, placing 3 gold coins on the wooden surface. 3, right? Correct. Noah retrieved a loaf from the shelf, handling it with the respect it deserved. As Noah retrieved the bread, the man introduced himself. Woodrow Taylor, former knight of House Balfour. Noah Carter, a shopkeeper. Woodrow's gaze drifted to the crystal bottles. "And these? I've not seen their like before." "Iced tea," Noah explained, seizing the marketing opportunity. "Increases mana reserves and regeneration by 30% for 10 minutes. Essential for mages in combat situations." "The price?" Woodrow asked, examining the bottles with interest. 10 gold coins each. The man's eyebrows shot up, but he didn't comment further. He lifted the wrapped bread instead, studying it with the intensity of someone evaluating a weapon. "Might I?" Woodrow gestured to the space. Would you mind if I tried it here? My journey home is long, and my leg troubles me. Noah glanced at his single stool, hardly better than a crate you would find in first-person shooting games. Please sit. Gratitude flickered across Woodrow's weathered face. Thank you. He unwrapped the bread with careful movements, broke off a piece, and placed it in his mouth. His eyes closed immediately, savoring the flavor. Then his expression changed to surprise. His free hand went to his right leg, the one he'd been favoring. By the God, he whispered. Noah watched with fascination as color returned to Woodrow's face. It actually works. The former knight's voice had dropped to an awed whisper. The bread's healing properties were working, targeting the injury the man had before, whether it was damaged muscle tissue or weakened bone that had never properly healed. But there were limits. 30% faster regeneration could ease pain, reduce inflammation, and begin repairing damage. Couldn't instantly heal years-old wounds. Woodrow stood, testing his weight on the injured leg. It wasn't healed, but the pain clearly wasn't as severe. Another, he said, reaching for his coin pouch. I'll take another immediately. System, the healing effects don't stack, right? Correct. Multiple consumptions will not stack. Noah hesitated. Actually, sir, I should tell you, the effects don't stack. Eating a second loaf won't increase healing beyond 30%, Noah explained. It would be a waste of your money. Woodrow stared at him, his expression shifting from disappointment to surprise. You're telling me not to buy more of your product? I'm telling you how to use it effectively, Noah corrected. The effect lasts about 10 minutes. You'd be better off returning then, for another dose rather than consuming multiple loaves at once. The former knight's laugh filled the small shop. An honest merchant. I thought your kind extinct. Noah smiled. I'd rather have customers who return because my products work as advertised. Woodrow nodded appreciatively. Then I'll return in 10 minutes for another. And perhaps tomorrow as well. He tested his leg again, still smiling at the reduced pain. May I ask how you came by such knowledge of healing magic? You're young for an alchemist. Family recipe, Noah offered his standard explanation. Woodrow accepted this with a nod. Woodrow limped toward the door, his movement noticeably smoother than when he'd entered. I'll return as promised. Don't close the shop and forget me. I won't, Noah smiled. How could I say no to $300? As the door closed behind the former knight, Noah couldn't help but grin. Word was spreading. The shop was finally getting noticed. 10 minutes later, the man returned and bought another one. This time, Woodrow took the bread with him. Once the door closed behind him, Noah checked his status once more. Host, Noah Carter. Age 28. Shops 1. Daily revenue, $1,300. Current assets, $900.10. Shop points, 130. Attributes, strength, 4. Vitality, 4. Intelligence, 7. Agility, 3. Skills, programming, level 2. Finance, level 1. Surviving on ramen, level 3. Chapter 20 Valeria, a lesson. After Woodrow left, the bell above the door chimed again 10 minutes later. Dingling. This time, a very familiar face appeared. Noah stood up from his crate. Valeria, the red-haired guild captain who'd scammed him into a discount for his first-ever sale. The woman who'd introduced him to this world's economy by threatening him with a knife. I'm not getting scammed again. He plastered on his best customer service smile. Valeria's mouth twitched, looking at his expression. What's with that smile, Baker? Do you hate me or something? Hate you? Never. Just delighted to see my favorite customer. Valeria snorted, approaching the counter with the confidence of someone who owned the place. Her silver wolf emblem gleamed on her armor as she surveyed the shop. New product. She nodded toward the glass bottles of iced tea. Indeed, it's iced tea. It increases mana reserves and regeneration by 30% for 10 minutes. Her eyes narrowed with interest. How much for a loaf of bread and an iced tea? Just 13 gold coins. Valeria barked a laugh. 13? Your bread is 3. The tea is more complex, Noah replied, already retrieving both items from the shelf. Aren't you a knight? Why would you want it anyway? It's not for me. Valeria tapped her guild emblem. It's for my mages. If it works, we'll place regular orders. Another potential bulk customer. Business is booming. 13 coins total, Noah said brightly. Valeria leaned against the counter, her expression shifting into negotiation mode. 13? After I brought you the princess? A royal customer? You owe your success to me, Baker. And I'm eternally grateful, Noah countered smoothly. That's why I gave you a substantial discount on your first purchase. Her eyes narrowed. 5 gold for both. 13. 8. 14. Valeria drummed her fingers on the counter. Then her eyes lit up with a new strategy. Baker, why don't I teach you swordsmanship? Here we go, another scam. I'm rather satisfied with my current skills, Noah replied immediately. 13 golden coins, he repeated. Indignation flashed across her face. Many would kill to learn under her, but this Baker wasn't. Baker, you are new to Esta. You haven't heard of me. She unsheathed her sword in one fluid motion. It was too fast for Noah to even flinch. I'm an adept swordswoman. Pride colored her voice and face. That's not something just anyone achieves. Noah raised an eyebrow. Adept. For ranks exist in Esta's martial traditions. Valeria ran her finger along the flat side of her blade. Novices stumble through basic forms, usually cutting themselves more than opponents. Apprentices survive their first real fights. Adepts, they master combat as an art. She twirled the sword in complex motions that left a faint trail of light. The display was impressive, even to Noah's untrained eye. And beyond adept? He asked, genuinely curious. Masters create new techniques. Grandmasters change how warfare itself functions. Her expression softened slightly. I've met 2 masters in my life. Never a grandmaster. System, is this worth considering? It depends on the host. If the host wants to go out more without worrying about the pain penalty of dying, then learning a skill like swordsmanship would be useful inside this world. Fine, Noah decided. I'll do it, but I'll only give you a gold coin discount. Valeria sheathed her sword. Make it 2.
No.
I'll give you 2 lessons. Noah weighed his options. Basic sword skills might actually be useful, especially with the demons attacking the city. Fine. Valeria's smile was pure victory. Smart choice, Baker. 11 coins for tea, bread, and 2 private lessons from an adept? You are winning. After giving her the bread and tea, Valeria took them and placed the 11 golden coins on the counter with a clink. Are you free for lessons now? Her eyes shone with mischief. Noah hesitated before nodding. All right, let's go. Valeria smirked, already heading for the door. Noah grabbed a loaf of bread from the shelf and tucked it into his jacket. You never know what could happen outside. Better prepared than sorry. He followed her out, closing the shop door behind him with a sense of foreboding. The Silver Wolf Guild Hall appeared in front of him, a sturdy stone building with a wolf's head carved above the entrance. Guards nodded respectfully as Valeria approached. Training yards in the back, she called over her shoulder. Noah hurried to keep pace. I thought maybe we'd start with some theory first? Maybe a lecture on proper sword etiquette. Valeria laughed at him. What's so funny? Theory gets you killed. We learn by doing. The training yard opened before them, a packed dirt rectangle surrounded by weapon racks, training dummies, and benches where off-duty guild members watched him with obvious interest. His clothes were things they hadn't seen before. Furthermore, he was following their leader. Everyone, this is Noah the Baker, Valeria announced. He's learning swordplay. Don't kill him. A chorus of chuckles greeted this announcement. Reassuring, Noah muttered. Valeria approached a weapons rack, selecting a battered iron shortsword. She tossed it toward Noah, who flinched aside, letting it clatter to the ground. First lesson failed, she sighed. Always catch your weapon. Noah eyed the sword with suspicion. Can't we start with something less lethal? A stick, maybe? This isn't garden play, Valeria countered, hefting her own steel blade. Real enemies use real weapons. And real weapons cause real death, Noah pointed out, which I'm trying to avoid. Their staring contest lasted 10 seconds before Valeria relented with an eye roll. She replaced the iron sword and retrieved 2 wooden training blades from a nearby barrel. Fine. Wouldn't want to damage the princess's favorite baker. She tossed one to Noah, who managed to catch it this time. Happy. Ecstatic.